Hey guys, it's me Sam, and I'm going to do my review of the Minions. So, as you can tell, I have a lot of Minions related stuff. I got a poster. I'm not going to open it right now, but so a poster right there. Got the first movie, second movie. I have this little toy right here. I also have this plushie right here, and another one. I like this one. And I also, just last month, when one of my family members ordered something on Amazon, this is the package that it was sent to it, and well, I decided to keep this, you know, And yeah, that's. Oh, and also I have this Minions shirt, obviously. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the Minions movie, and as you can tell, I'm a pretty decent fan of the Minions as a whole. But anyways, let's talk about the movie. So basically, the premise for this movie is that it's a spin-off of the Minions. I mean, Gru, although spoilers, he makes a little bit of a cameo at the end, but he's not really a big part of this movie, like, at all, like the previous ones, and it's just the Minions. Basically, it's a prequel to the first movie and to the franchise as a whole. And basically what happens is that the Minions have existed on this planet since the dawn of time, literally. And they have always wanted to serve a villain. And, you know, the movie shows for like the first 5 or 10 minutes them trying to serve a villain, like a dinosaur, a man, a caveman, a Dracula, the British Army during the Revolutionary War, and a few others. And so, while they're in the Revolutionary War, they get lost, and then they find this cave that's an ice cave, and that makes it their home for at least about approximately 200 years. And then in the year 1968, one of the Minions, Kevin, he's a tall Minion who has two. Yeah, he dares to go find a Minion or villain for everyone else, because everyone else is pretty much tired. They just want to serve someone, and they're just bored, and you know, all that kind of stuff. And so he takes along Bob, and he's a Minion that looks somewhat like this, and he takes Stuart, who's kind of like this. And so basically, the movie from then on is them trying to find a villain, and obviously, since it's the year 1968, there's obviously going to be a lot of, you know, parodies of like certain people, like Richard Nixon, or like television at the time. You know, like there's going to be like a lot of things that adults will know because, you know, either they have lived through it or they just know about it in general. I'm the latter, because I obviously was not born in 1968, but, you know, I've been through history class, so, you know. And basically, later on, they just, while they're in the United States, in New York, they then discovered via TV of VillainCon, where it's basically where the group of the biggest, baddest villains go over, even though I don't think Comic-Cons in general didn't exist at that time period, but whatever. And, you know, then they go to it. And then they find, and in the commercial, or while they were watching it on TV that promoted that, there was this woman named Scarlet Overkill. I think that's her name. And she is considered the biggest, baddest villain of all time. And so they want to go and serve her so that, like, the other minions don't die because, you know, they have nothing to do. Because they feel helpless without a villain. And so then they go to her place, and she would like to steal Queen Elizabeth's crown, so that, you know, like, she can, like, be a true ruler and stuff like that, because, you know, she didn't have a good life prior to the events, like, prior to where she is right now. And so basically the movie then is basically them trying to steal the crown, then shenanigans ensue and she becomes the villain of the movie, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's the basic general premise. So let's talk about what I found good about the movie. I found some of the humor to be pretty good. I thought that the animation was very creative, and it's definitely something to look. It's definitely bright and colorful. It's definitely very imaginative. Some of the things look like some of the gadgets are pretty cool, and I would honestly like to see more of that. And, you know, like, the voice acting is very good, and yeah, that's kind of what I think of the good of the movie. Now let's get to the bad of the movie, the bad stuff of the movie, and basically, this is going to get a little more critical. So, what I found bad was that I feel that the movie was not very well paced. It just feels like it didn't really feel very flowing. It just kind of felt like, oh, well, here we are. Oh, we're going over here. Now we're going over here, and so on and so forth. And it just feels like it needs better pacing. And another thing is that it's a bit too over the top, I think, for probably some people, because it feels like a Saturday morning cartoon at sometimes. It just feels too over the top for its own good. Another problem is that I feel that sometimes, like, just focusing on just the minions, there's two problems. One, their voices can get very annoying very quickly, and number two is that sometimes you don't even understand what they're saying, and sometimes whenever they try to make a joke, or whenever they try to tell a joke, you don't really know what they're saying, or just how they speak in general, and that's not a good thing, because you need to know what the characters are saying, and, you know, it just feels like, you know, they need, like, someone to, like, explain it. There is obviously a narrator at the beginning and end of the movie, but he doesn't play in for a big majority other than the beginning of the end, and that's a very big problem.